Example number 2. It says write an equation for a function such that f of -1 is equal to 2 and f of 3 is equal to -2. And we're asked to write a linear function. Now you guys already know how to do this, it's just you probably haven't seen it written this way before. Can somebody remind me of what a linear function is? Anyone? I feel like Ben Stein. Anyone? Anyone? It's a straight line. What's the equation for a straight line? Y equals mx plus b. Now, how do you find the y equals mx plus b? We need slope and a y-intercept, or any point, right? We just need the slope. So first let's graph this. Although we're not asked to do it, Mr. Adams loves to graph things. I'm going to go to the left. Now you do realize that this is the point -1, 2, right? And that this is the point 3, -2. Because this is the x value. In other words, what we're asked to do is write a function f of x is equal to m times x plus b, or something similar to that. And so this is the x value, and this is a corresponding y value, because f of x is the same as y. So if I go and I plot the point -1, 2, and I plot the point 3, 1, 2, 3, -2, I'll get a graph that sort of looks like this, right? Now, obviously, Mr. Adams is like kind of freehanding it, right? But I'll get a graph that kind of looks like that. So what I really need is the slope, which is the rise over run, and then I need the y-intercept. Where does that look like the y-intercept is, though? 0, maybe, right? It looks like it. So we'll have to see. We'll have to do some math, right? If Mr. Adams would have used some graph paper, which I have some, we would know for sure. But let's do the math. How do I calculate the slope? Because I need, in order to do this problem, I need two things. I need the slope and probably a point. And we have points. So how do I calculate the slope? Oh, I highlighted the wrong letter. I need the slope, right? So how do I find the slope? Can somebody tell me? Yes. Rise over run. And what does that look like algebraically, though? Very good. That's what I was looking for. So it's the difference in the y's, or y sub 2 minus y sub 1, all over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And so what this means is this is my first x, this is my first y, this is my second x, this is my second y. Now, Mr. Adams is a brilliant mathematician, but sometimes I get the x's and y's confused, right? Have you guys ever done it? Probably you don't do that, but Mr. Adams does it all the time. So I always label them first, because I know that y sub 2 is equal to -2, then the formula gives me a minus sign. Then I'm going to plug in y sub 1, which is 2. Then x sub 2 is 3 minus, and then x sub 1 is minus 1. Now I'm sure that you guys never do this, but Mr. Adams sometimes will forget that extra minus sign, right? But when you minus a minus, you really what? Add. So I'm left with -4 over 4, which is a slope of -1, right? When that reduces down. How am I doing so far? So now that I have my slope, now what do? How do I get the equation? I have the slope. How do I write the equation? I said we needed a slope and a what? A y-intercept, which is a point on the line. So it's like I need a point and a slope. Boy, if there was just some formula that used the point and the slope to write the equation of the line. I thought I heard, what were you saying?
Point slope form.
Brilliant. Point slope form. So there is a formula called the point, how do you misspell point? Point, I got so excited. Point slope form, right? Which is y minus, who knows that off the top of their head? Equals?
X minus x1.
Okay, now you know what Mr. Adams does, and you'll see me do this a lot. We're always going to solve for y. Always. So the atoms, the Tadams point slope form looks like this. Y equals m times x minus x sub 1 plus y. I always do it that way because I don't know, it just makes it cuts out one step for Mr. Adams. So I'm going to take that and we're going to say y is equal to negative 1 times x minus, what was x sub 1 again? I forgot. Negative 1. Now what if I accidentally used this point instead? Would it make a difference? No, it wouldn't. In fact, we'll do it both ways just to make sure. So I'm going to minus 1, right? Plus y sub 1, which is 2. Push this through the parentheses. When you minus a minus, it becomes a plus. So I get y is equal to negative x minus 1 times plus 1 is actually minus 1 plus 2, or negative x plus 1, right? Did I do that right? Now to double check, what I might do is I might say, so I think this is it, right? To double check, I'm going to say negative 1x, and then I'm going to use the other point, minus 3 plus negative 2. And I get negative x, push that through, I get plus 3 minus 2, or y equals negative x plus 1. See how that works? So what do we learn? Mr. Adams shouldn't freehand graphs. Right? Second of all, we figured out how to write the slope. Now, does anybody have any questions how to use the slope, how to write the equation of the line using 2 points? Right? Really, we only need 2 points to write the equation of a line, right? Because from the 2 points we can get the slope. If it's a linear function, then we can get the slope, and once we have the slope, we use one of the other points, plug it into the point slope form, and then we'll get our equation. And then if for whatever reason we want to double check our work, like let's say we're taking the ACT test, we want to really make sure that we have the right answer, we could plug this in. In other words, I could plug in this point and then plug in this point, and if they both have the same equation, then I know I've done the work correctly. That makes sense?